Hi, everyone, and welcome to Faith in an Ever Changing World Encouragement and Hope Faith Story. I'm Janet Harley, your host, and I am excited today to be with Kerri Pomarolli. She is amazing, and you'll find out more about her right after this. Kerri Pomarolli is a national headlining stand-up comedian who has worked with everyone from Jay Leno, Jim Carrey, Sherry Shepherd, Carol Channing, and Jerry Lewis. Her latest book came out with the hit movie Mom's Night Out, starring Sean Astin. She's a screenwriter who sold her second film script to the Hallmark Channel. She's very passionate about her faith. Kerri, thank you so much for joining me this morning. And I know it's early where you live.
Well, when you have two kids, your day starts very, very early.
Oh, thank you. And if you will, Kerri, please share your faith story with us.
Well, it's such an interesting question, Janet, because don't we have so many faith stories?
Yes,
I feel like every day is, an evolution of where I am and where I'm going and where I wasn't yesterday. And,
right.
For the people that are watching, we all have different backgrounds. I was raised with a Southern Alabama Presbyterian mother who's very Christian. She's more Christian than everyone I've ever met. And, and then she married a Yankee Italian Catholic guy from Detroit. And then they sent me to Dutch Christian Reform School. So being the only Italian kid in the Dutch Christian Reform School was good training to be a comedian, I guess you could say. But I did get a Christian education and I did go to mass and I went to church and I really just got that appreciation that God is God, Jesus is Jesus. Mm-hmm. We need to not get caught up in the details and the legalism of what denomination is going to be in heaven. And so I had a great, background in that. And then fast forward, traveled to Europe and did shows all over. And then loaded up the truck and moved to Los Angeles when I was 22. And this was before GPS. So my dad drew me a map with the magic marker and then they drove back. They drove back home and that was, and my generation, we're scrappy, so I worked 3 jobs and tried to make ends meet. And I got on some shows, General Hospital and Young and the Restless. And I did have a faith relationship with God. I always felt like that was, important, but not my core value 7 days a week. I could go on Sunday and do my time unless there wasn't a parking spot. And then I was like, well, God, I guess I wasn't supposed to go to church. And God was like, well, maybe you could be on time. But around the age of 25, I got invited to this little church down at Redondo Beach and they had potluck dinner. So as a good Southern girl, I'm like, I'm in. Yeah, except Californians, they don't know how to potluck, Janet. They do things like hummus. They do things like hummus and carrots. It's terrible. So I was looking for deviled eggs. And so anyway, this church really changed my life. It was not the kind of church I was raised in. The pastor wore a Hawaiian shirt. People had blue jeans. They were raising their hands. I was like, it's a cult. And I really feel like I met the real Jesus in 3D during those years in my mid-20s. And I was acting and doing movies and, just being an actor, I guess, out here in Los Angeles. And through that faith journey of falling in love with Jesus, I really feel like that was a God moment when I started doing stand-up comedy because I wanted to be clean. And the things that I was being offered were not appropriate as an actor. And I was like, how am I going to make a difference as a Christian in this world? I mean, there's only 4 of us in Hollywood, 4 Christians. And I started doing stand-up comedy. And that really became just a journey of faith because I was very out of the closet about who I am faith-wise, very out of the closet about my faith. And I guess I made it funny, And so the next thing you know, Sherry Shepherd and people like comedian Bone Hampton were taking me on the road. They're like, you can do comedy in churches, which I didn't think you were allowed to laugh in a church. And so I was like, really? And there's this whole like subculture of church comedy. But I never stopped keeping my foot in the door of Hollywood. And I wrote my first books back then, and I've been writing books ever since. And I became a screenwriter, and God has just opened up all sorts of doors. But the whole thing has been about me sharing God. So if I have a microphone, I will share the gospel one way or the other. Even if I'm in a club, I'll find some way to give God glory. Or if I'm in a church. And I really feel like God has shown me that your ministry doesn't have to be from a pulpit. It could be just where you are in the back of a comedy club at 11 o'clock at night. It could be driving carpool. It could be to your neighbors. And so it's been an evolution of being a faithful person out here in California, and just asking God, where does he want me to go? I've been a writer now for the Hallmark Channel. I have some projects that might be going out at Netflix. So I have a partner. She's a Christian. We write movies, and we're writing a television project right now. We always have the element of faith in everything that we write. It may not be overt, like in your face, but we just feel like God has to be glorified in everything we do.
Awesome. That is awesome. And God is absolutely using you. I mean, I could have filled our time just introducing you with everything that God has had you doing. And I know that you've been in a lot of the LA's hottest comedy clubs. And I think your first gig was at Hollywood Improv.
Yep.
And
it would not be uncommon to be at the Hollywood Improv and look over at my table in the dark, and Robin Williams was there, or Chris Rock, or just incredible comedians. And the sad fact is, it's not all glamorous. You'd see them drinking a lot and doing drugs, and they're just not always content, because I feel like that doesn't fill your soul. Just the art of comedy doesn't fill your soul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they need the Lord. And I think that's why he has you in LA, in Hollywood, in all these places, so that you can give him the glory and share that gospel with these folks who need it so much. Yeah. And I think too that LA, you were voted one of LA's most inspiring people by the LA Voyage magazine, and that's wonderful. See, God is blessing you all the way through this journey that he has you on.
Thank you.
I know that you are very passionate about your faith. And you've had your latest two books, Confessions of a Proverbs 32 Woman. I think I need to get that. That's great. And she rises late and her kids make her breakfast. How sweet. Oh my goodness. Devotionals for the Proverbs 32 Woman. And you are a bestseller. That's on the bestseller list on Amazon. Yes. All right.
That was really fun. Those were really fun projects to be a part of. And it's really fun when you just pour your heart out and you put it on a piece of paper, and then people all over the world read your embarrassing stories. But I guess you know what that's like. We just have made a career out of telling embarrassing stories.
Yes, that's right. Yes, we're both storytellers. Absolutely.
Did you draw from your own life with your stories when you were doing storytelling?
And now what now?
Did you draw from your own life when you would do storytelling?
Partly, yes. Yep. Some of the stories I tell are very true, and then others, are a little embellished and made up. So, but it's fun. It's fun, and fun sharing those stories with people. I have links that I will put in the comments section after the broadcast. And so we want you to, we're going to be praying for you, Kerri, that God will continue to bless you in this journey He has you on.
Well, we need the prayers out here in Hollywood. We really need
Yes.
the prayers to move forward with films and move forward with projects. And there's a lot of spiritual warfare to not have those types of projects move forward, but we need them now more than ever.
Absolutely. Yes, we do. Amen. Amen to that. Before we leave, Kerri, one thing, what is one way or one thing that we can do to hold on to our faith in this ever-changing world?
I think the word that comes to mind, Janet, is community. I feel very strongly that after the isolation that we've gone through in these past months, the community is more important than ever. And I think people need to find their community intentionally, not just, oh, I'm going to show up on Sunday and leave, but join a small group, have a prayer partner. If you can't get out of your house, make somebody a phone call. We're going to pray. You know, my daughter's in 5th grade and she goes to a small little Christian school, and I made an appointment with her teacher once a week. We're going to pray together for the 5th grade class. I think it's about being intentional.
Yes. Yes. We definitely have to be, all of us have to be intentional about that. Thank you again, Kerri, for joining me this morning. And thank you all for watching. Have faith and look up, friends, where our help comes from. Bye. God bless.